For the 23-24 season, Talking Wolves is proudly supported by Green King Sport, where football is more than a game.
Green King Sport venues are showing every single one of Wolves' televised fixtures throughout this season. So instead of turning to the internet for a dodgy stream, why not get your mates together, get yourself down to a Green King pub and get closer to the action?
That's right, Dave. And Green King Sport have recently launched their Green King Sport Instagram page. It'll have a load of content on there, some deals and some competition throughout the season. So please do us all a favour. Do us all a favour here at Talking Wolves. Follow the Green King Sport Instagram page so you're the first to know about it. Now it's time to get stuck into the podcast. Hello and welcome back to the Talking Wolves podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Cooper, and today we are joined by the full squad today. We're back in numbers. We'll start with the main man himself, Dave Azzopardi. Dave, how you keeping, mate? What you been up to? Anything?
Very well. I'm a bit tired. I think, like we said on the pod on last week, I was out all Saturday afternoon, so I think it's just had a bit of a 24-hour delay, so it just wiped me out today, to be fair. But keeping well other than the football, looking after myself.
Well, it probably doesn't help that you're feeling tired, that you've just finished off a chippy, haven't you?
Well, I had that at lunchtime, to be fair. So
who has a chippy for lunch on a Monday?
I had a kebab, man.
Oh,
12:30, I had a kebab.
What is wrong with
you? Tikka wrap and chips, and then just wiped me out this afternoon. So,
That is scruffy behaviour, mate.
I know. One day off, leave me alone.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a little bit more allowed that it's a bit more acceptable that it's your day off. But how was your afternoon up Brum Saturday? I had to do the match review in your honour. But
no, it was good, to be fair. It's my friend's birthday, so we went out. It's sort of we started off. The level was low. Briar Rose, which is a Wetherspoons, so decent price drinks. That's whilst the Wolves game was on, and then we went to Reflex. Which
grab a granny.
Yeah. Chicago's, but
Jord's got a season ticket there.
Yeah. I've got the last. I've only been in that Reflex literally once, right? And Chapel went. Well, there's a group of us, and a woman took off a shoe and stilettoed into the face and cut his face open. I've been in there once. And that's the only time I've ever been.
Resourceful.
Yeah. But, I mean, it was 50% off drinks though, so I got 6 drinks for 16 quid there. I felt like I was at the Nisa local, mate. It was unbelievable. But then, then we had a confrontation from 2 women. Apparently, one of our mates had dashed a drink down her, so we had to leave quite quickly.
Oh my god! Was the accusations true?
Probably, because he wouldn't look her in the eye. But thankfully, the bouncers just laughed about it. But then we ended up in Albert Schloss, which was obviously a good crack, but very expensive. But
it is. It's good though, Albert Schloss. I like that.
It is good.
Yeah, it's all right.
Good vibe.
Yeah. Well, when you're paying like 2 or 3 quid for a drink at Reflex to sort of 10 or 11 quid each at Albert Schloss, that's when it.
You're such a tight bastard, ain't you?
Mate, 11 quid for a drink, are you mad?
Like a gnat's arse, right? We look after the pennies, look after the pounds, mate.
Well, the sort of one highlight, we met a couple from Gloucester and they were playing, I don't know what he called it, but some of my mates called it fingers. When you put your finger on a glass, you go 3, 2, 1 and say a number. And obviously you take your finger off or you keep it on, and then it's the last man standing. Whoever loses has to down the drink. So, but every time I went to get another drink, there was another group of girls or people that we were playing with. So it kept us going all night, to be fair. Sounds proper sad now I talk about it, to be fair.
It is. How does that work? How do you play fingers?
So say there's us 4 playing it. We've got a pint there, full pint. We all put our finger on there. Yeah. I'll start.
Okay, I've got my finger on my cup of tea now.
Yeah. So I go 3, 2, 1, 3, and you, all 4 of us, either keep our finger on it or take it off.
Or off it.
If there's 3 fingers, left, and I've got it right, I'm out. I'm sound. And then it's up to you 3 to play, and then you count. And the last man, whoever loses, like the last one to get it right, basically has to down the drink.
So you can only go up to 3 fingers because there's 3 of us.
Yeah. So you'll go 3, 2, 1, and say 0, 1, 2, or 3. And if you
couldn't you say 4 though?
Well, no, you ain't going to say
4.
You're going to leave 4 fingers on there, is there?
Well, because I'm only saying back in my day, when I was at uni, we used to play
1947.
And fives was like you either had 10, 5,
yeah, that's better, yeah,
or 0, and then you'd have to go out by
Oh, I
That's how
see what
do
you
it.
mean. So we just went. I don't know what this was. Just one finger each, and if you were out, you're out. You didn't have to put
Right.
your finger on it. Then you see. But then we had another rule. Like if you celebrated, or if you got it right, you had to come back.
Yeah.
You had to go back in the game.
Fives for sure.
Yeah.
It's like
So
fives. But,
how do you win?
Well,
Gotta
you
get
just
out.
have to guess the right number, and then you go out. So you basically the aim of the game is that you do not want to be down in the drink, basically.
Okay.
So.
Especially if you're Dave. I've got a little story about Dave when we went we went to Brussels for a weekend away with another mate of ours to watch Fabio play for Anderlecht, and Dave managed to unlock the unlimited drinks glitch because we brought in this Jaeger bomb, and no word of a lie, it was like there was like that much in it.
It was
and
huge.
like he put it back, and then he literally filled the glass back up, and it was just sat there on the bar like overflowing with like Jaeger stomach lining.
I did not throw it up. It was the drink only. No way did I throw anything
and then he
there.
drank it all.
Yeah. No,
No,
I
he didn't.
didn't throw anything else back up for the record.
Yeah, there's a picture somewhere. I'll have to get it out. But Jord, welcome back, mate. After your week off, what you been up to?
What have I been up to? Not a lot, actually. I've been to the gym about 2 hours before recording, done a spin class. So
Nice.
yeah, everything's fucking in already.
Call on me.
So yeah, very much in my lycra. But nah, so I've done that. Weekend was okay. Something what we did, just watch football. I mean, I'm in a real bad mood at the moment because Wolves are shit and the Vikings are shit as well. Like they had 0-3, so I'm just getting a lot of pain at the moment from my sports teams. So nothing to smile about in my life, as that meme says.
How's the golfing going? I know you're trying to get your handicap down, aren't you?
Yeah, I haven't played since. Oh, sorry, I played Monday, didn't I? I mean, that's why I missed last week. I didn't have exactly the best of rounds, but I'd pot committed, and it was only the fact of it was because I'd been in IB and stuff for a wedding, and I said to mate, "Yeah, we'll play on the Monday." I get back, not thinking 2-2, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, we're playing tonight still, aren't we?" I was like, "Bollocks!" So yeah, so sorry I missed the Liverpool pod, but it was my birthday
right.
as well. In between, we haven't spoken about. So I missed it. Yeah. So I'm now 43, as your tweet said.
I was going to say, couple of years, mate. You get your free bus pass.
I know, yeah. Go and B&Q on a Wednesday. Get me discount very soon. I'm looking forward to theirs.
Little queue jump. Welcome back as well, Finn. You were off on the on the last podcast. How's things? You're the only one out of us who went to Luton, weren't you?
Yeah, I feel like I needed to be here to be the away end correspondent.
I've not been to an away game this season. I can't be bothered.
I
know that makes me a plastic, but it's the money as well.
Yeah, it is ridiculous, especially when last season, what was it, 2 wins all season, and it's not looking great this season. Although we've already got halfway there, haven't we? So, yeah, I think I've done every one so far. I've missed a home game though, so between us, we've done all right. But yeah, I was in the famous away end. It was good fun.
The Domino's Oak stand, isn't it?
It's clever. That's clever, isn't it? Because I bet
very
it
clever from Domino's.
Yeah, because there's so many people outside
taking pictures of it. Yeah,
clever.
Very clever. That's the little marketer inside me is enjoying that one. I saw a tweet Finn saying there was loads of like ex-Wolves players in the away end. Is that true? From what you saw,
I saw. No, I didn't see a single one. Thinking about it.
I did see a tweet about that as well.
I can't remember who tweeted it, but I think it's a bit poor from the club, if you ask me. Considering
I saw
how small the away
Sar's
end.
brother. Jose Sar's brother he's like, if you put Jose Sar and Daniel Ricciardo together, incredible. Yeah,
can he kick a ball or no?
Don't know. Although we were very low down. I thought I'd have to head one away myself at points, but no, he didn't go anywhere near. I saw Neto's girlfriend as well, but that was about it. She burst out crying when he scored. Great fun.
Really?
Yeah, bless her. And then a lot of lads all going, I don't think. And maybe that was why she's crying, to be fair, having a lot of lads from Wolverhampton jump on her. But yeah, they're the only people that I spotted.
How do you know what Neto's missus looks like?
Darcy showed me several times in anger because she always thought she was destined to be Neto's girlfriend. So, yeah, I've had to see her face a lot. This should have been me. So,
There's still time, mate. There's still time. Still only young pups, aren't they? But unfortunately, Finn, I am gonna start with you. Unfortunately, not because it's you, but unfortunately because we've got to talk about the game. Luton 1, Wolves 1. Dubbed as must win by Dave and I last week, and I still don't think that changes. But What was the general atmosphere like initially, Finn? You couldn't really hear Wolves fans on the telly, but it sounded quite loud.
Yeah, I thought we were, to be fair. It was loud in general. There's a little back and forth between the small area of Luton fans on our right-hand side. That was the only real stuff going on. But it's always the same, isn't it? When you're in the away end, you think you sound really loud. You watch Match of the Day and you're actually only 2,000 in a 40,000 seats or whatever.
Yeah.
I suppose we did have a decent chance this time with hardly anyone being in there. But yeah, it was pretty loud. It started positive. It's everyone's just sort of doing, oh, look at this, and taking pictures of people's back gardens. And it was all in good spirits. And I didn't realise as well, I don't know whether many of you will have realised, or anyone listening, or you lot, it's unreserved seating in the away end. So it's free for all.
You want, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a bit chaos, and you got way too many on one row and then hardly any on another. But yeah, everyone sort of settled. But then as soon as the game kicked off, and yeah, we didn't get out of basically right in front of us. The game was being played right in front of that away end. You got all sorts of shouts going at the players. It grew in that first half an hour. Got quite nasty, and then we started to get a foot, and then it sort of went quiet with the red card. So yeah, not a particularly nice away end in luxury or in experience, but it was a good one to tick off.
It was a disaster from start to finish. What it really was.
Yeah,
pretty well. I mean, the first 10 minutes, and I know Luton are probably going to have 20, 25 minutes at the start of the game where they try and get a foothold and the crowd's behind them. But Finn, it looked like, and I know Dave was only seeing the extended highlights because he was out, but it looked like they'd never played with each other, like players falling over each other. And then he switched to the 5. I think he needed to switch to the 5 because Luton were having so much joy in those wide positions. But I mean, he switched it over a couple of times, didn't he? Because like he had Neto at left wing back, then Wang at right.
Yeah, they swapped wings when they were wingers, weren't they? And then swapped to be different wing back. Yeah, it was all over the place and just couldn't get out that first half an hour. You'll have a better tactical view of it because I was literally behind the goal, low down, so I didn't have a clue what was going on. I was just dodging shots basically for the first half hour. So yeah, a really tough one.
Yeah, it was a mistake early on, Dave. It was just a ball just pumped up field and Semedo's miscontrolled it, and then they hit the bar. But that should have been the wake up call. But it wasn't. They just kept. I don't even know what they were doing. They couldn't get their foot on the ball, and they looked scared. They looked scared to play.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you three will have a much better idea of how the sort of flow of the game went rather than me. But yeah, the chance, I think he was going to be the danger man, Colton Morris, really, because two players that I was looking out for was obviously Giles, if he played. I don't think he started, did he? And then Colton Morris is their sort of danger man. He's the man that scores the goals. And he did look lively, but it was just a lot of the time, it was our own stupid errors. Like you said there, I think Semedo's got to do a lot better with that clearance. And then throughout the game, which I'm sure we'll talk about, just sloppy, stupid passes. The one with Dawson back to Sarr, which could have so easily been a goal, and that would have just looked stupid. But yeah, a couple of the times, but Wolves just couldn't seem to get out of their own half. And I don't know, when you're away from home, I think Luton will be really happy with how they, although they probably felt they should have got 3 points against 10 men. For us to play like that against, on paper, the worst team in the league and barely get out our own half and going at half time with 0 shots on goal, zero shots in total is embarrassing, really. And yeah, really, really disappointing. The only positive for me really is that we got something out of the game despite going down to 10 men so early.
Jord, we got away, didn't we? We were lucky to get a point. Really, I thought Luton had the far better chances, and it was one-way traffic all game. No, the red card doesn't help that, but it was a shambles, man.
Yeah, well, you can say everything you want about the red card, and I will probably touch on it in a bit. But 11 versus 11, they were the better team, weren't they? We were really bad, like really poor, and I think it's happened a few times now. I think the performance after Brighton. Against it was Everton, wasn't it? We played away. Was it after Brighton at home? And we just looked we just looked really timid and petrified to do anything because I think Brighton knocked the stuffing out of us. It felt like the same again after what Liverpool did to us in the second half. It just felt like we just bereft of confidence. They couldn't string passes together. They're so disjointed and really, really poor. I think. I know there's the adage of I think we're too good to go down. I think we probably will be still because I just think the league's that poor. But I mean, 11 versus 11, Luton looked like the team that had been in the Premier League a few years, and we looked like the new minnows just come up, and we played that way as well. And after how I was so disappointed with how the first half went against Liverpool in comparison to the first half against Luton, surely just replicate that performance, like just play the same intent, the same tenacity, get on the front foot, and just dominate the game. But we're petrified to play, absolutely petrified to play.
Yeah, we were. But I think, most of Luton's threats come from wide, then it crosses into the box. And I think we defended the box really well, considering the amount of pressure they were put on. You know, it was, the game was made for the likes of Dawson. I know Kilman won 10 aerial duels as well, but I know it shouldn't be used as an excuse. But before the red card for a few minutes, Finn, Wolves were gathering a bit of momentum, starting to get a bit more control in the game. But the red card itself, I think it's a red card, but I also think it's really soft. You can't lock a player down, and I think what Bellegarde's tried to do is almost like nudge his way out or kick his way out of the lock. He's not tried to stamp on him. He's trying to wriggle free, but Lockie has done what any professional would do, Finn, and has gone down like he's been shot.
Yeah, but it was one of those ones that I didn't see till afterwards, because where we were sat, the crossbar was sort of blocking out that middle area of the pitch. So you literally just see the red flashing, didn't see what for. And then there was that slow-mo angle that we were all slowly getting in the away end. And I think it was a typical moment that sort of summed up the entire game in that, and we were saying we're terrible, but we're going to come on to the referee as well. They were allowed to get away with everything. Bellegarde's trying to get back up because Wolves are on the attack, and he's literally just got a bloke pinned down, our most forward attacking midfielder, on the floor. We're then attacking with 10 men. He's tried to wriggle free. It's not a stamp, is it? It's almost like a press, get off, and Lockie was doing it the whole game. You can say it's a bit naive and he shouldn't have done it, but also how else is he meant to get up and jump very rare attacks? So yeah, it's one of those where I don't think there'd be, if they'd have missed it, there wouldn't be retrospective action on it, would there? Certainly. So it's a real one. Once he's given the red, there is that case to say, well, studs have gone into his leg, you're not going to overturn it. But yeah, it's just unlucky, and I'm sure we'll come on to the overall refereeing of the game.
I'd argue he's not even seen it as well, because Wolves were going the other way.
Oh no, he hasn't. And I don't think the lino did either. It must have been the fourth official or something, or just the sheer noise of the crowd. I don't know, but both aren't looking at it at the time, the lino on that side and the ref.
I think it's naive from Bellegarde, though, Dave, to do that. But the referee, every single appeal for Luton, every single appeal from Luton players, fans, staff, he gave, it was a bit of a spineless performance. You could tell it was his first day on the job in the Premier League. And we've said before, we don't want to berate referees because it is a hard job, but he had an absolute stinker.
It's just getting boring, the fact that we have to keep talking about it, and it's frustrating because it depends which way you look at it. There's been, refereeing performances may have cost us already a couple of times this season, but at the same time, probably our own performances have. We look at the United game again, we should have put the ball in the back of the net way before that penalty shout. The game against Luton, I know it's quite unfortunate, it's still quite early in the game, but if we had control of the game a lot earlier, we could have scored a goal or two and put ourselves in a much better position to get a result. In regards to the red card, I think by the letter of the law, yes, it is a red, but I think in the circumstances, it is extremely harsh. Like you said, Lockie's, it's a bit of a shithouse move from him, to be honest. He knows exactly what he's doing. Yeah. Why have you tied your legs around the player like he has done there? And I don't think, the foot is going back in the direction of Lockie's body. But one, no way did he connect as hard as Lockie has made out there. And two, it didn't look like there was much. It wasn't malicious, in my opinion.
He's trying to get out, isn't he?
Yeah, so I think because of the motion of him kicking back towards the player, I think, or the letter of the law, I don't think you'll win an appeal on it. I'd be very surprised if you do. You might squeeze a game off the ban. But no way did the ref see it. If the lino saw it, it would have been from a distance. So for him to just come out with that red card straight away is surprising, because VAR aren't going to overturn that red card once that's been given. It's not a clear and obvious error, is it? Whatever that means nowadays. So stupidity from Bellegarde's side, I suppose, but anyone with a brain, anyone that's sensible, knows that that's probably a harsh decision, really. And I think a booking would have been more than sufficient.
I think if we, and I know we shouldn't be using it as an excuse, because it's not, because I thought tactically we were pretty crap anyway. But you take away that decision when we're getting a foothold in the game. You take away the penalty. There's not a penalty, and the optics of this performance. You win 1-0 away from home, and it's a scrappy win, but you've won. I think it does change things, and I think perhaps a little bit of slack for Gary O'Neill, because otherwise you probably would have coached a 1-0 away win from home. But
yeah, I think sort of going back to what you said earlier about the defensive performance, it was a very, very good defensive performance, because we knew what they were going to do. We knew they were going to be pumping the ball into the area. If you watched any of Luton in the Championship, you knew they were a big physical team, which Wolves do tend to struggle against sometimes. But they were just pumping that ball into the box, and Dawson and Kilman did have a lot of work to do. Yeah. Yes, we were sloppy at times ourselves, but if we don't give that penalty away, which we'll talk about, and like you said, we come out of this with a 1-0 win with 10 men, you think, my word, that is a fantastic performance there. And it is just...
Result, not performance.
Yeah, sorry, result, not performance.
You tell him, Finn.
Yeah.
Mate, honestly.
But it is just these fine margins. And unfortunately for Gary O'Neill at the moment, he is going to be judged on results. And because of these fine margins, he's falling on the wrong side of them every single time. And yes, some of them are refereeing decisions. But if we actually, put in better performances overall, I don't think he'd be in this position.
Yeah, I mean, Wolves were having to defend the box defending like beavers, I think the phrase is, George. But I think that's probably why he brought on Doc and Totti Gomez at half time, because they're both aerially a lot better than what we had. Saying that, I thought Nouri defended the back post really well. There was a couple of occasions where a ball was played in and their wing back was like storming in, and he's managed to get away. But what were your overall thoughts on the approach after the red card, Jord?
I think your hands are tied a little bit. I know I've seen some tweets that, he's left Fabio on the bench, he's left Sasa on the bench, he's left Sarabia on the bench, and we didn't go for it. But you're down to 10 men away from home in the Premier League. Again, I'm not content before the game that we've gone to Luton and played that way and got a point out of it. But circumstance changes the outlook on the game, and I just think it was substance over style in the end, especially when you get down to 10 men. We've done well to get a point out of there. I feel really sorry for Gary O'Neill, because now people are on his back saying he should be gone. It's this, it's that. And for me, I think he's got the job right. Whether you think he's good enough for the job or not, he's been given the job. For me, the blame lies with the owners. The ambition lies with the owners. Gary O'Neill's gone for a job offer. They've given him a job. Whether he's good enough or not is one thing, but you can argue, I think, and we were arguing before the start of the season, that Lopetegui, Gary O'Neill, didn't have the tools to do the job that they'd want both of them to do. That's why Lopetegui walks, ultimately. The board and Fosen haven't backed the club. And I just think it's a bit unfair to get on O'Neill's back right now. 6 games in, we've had a difficult start. With different refereeing decisions, we could be on another 4 points.
Another 4 point, yeah.
So it'd be 10th, and it's like that. That's, I mean, before the start of the season, I know I said we'd come 16th. I think everyone was quite pessimistic about and we're probably about where we probably are now in the league, where we'll end up. So I just think, what more do you want Gary O'Neill to do right now? That'd be my only thing. I know I agree that performances are shit. Or have been shit, but there's been some good stuff as well in there.
Yeah, but he's also not blameless, and I don't know whether.
No, he's not.
And I don't know, just little things like the goal kick route. Our build-up plan for Luton was Kilman take the goal kick to pass to Sarr to hoof it up to Cunha against 3 big boys at the back. There's little things where in every sense of Wolves, what are we doing?
What does that pass achieve? What does it achieve that Kilman knocks it there?
They did it. I don't know. They did it. What did you say, Matt? Maybe 6 or 7 times, and then sort of started. I don't, because it's taken one guy out of the game because he came to rush Sarr. But when you're hoofing it up just for it to come straight back, we did not get out our half in that first half.
Having Kilman take the goal kick.
Kilman just passed it to Sarr, so the one Luton player would rush him. That's all it did. But they just hoof it up, and Lockyer would go, "Thanks very much."
I think it's to try and entice the press, isn't it? But Luton weren't going to do that, because that's not what they do.
No.
And then, like you said, if you're going to go long, we couldn't play out from the back, because they had no confidence to do so, and then you punt it upfield to Mateus Cunha, and he's just coming straight back.
Yeah,
which is
so
why I think you should have brought Kalidasic on at some point more, because he's going to help you defend your own box, which is obviously a massive thing against Luton, but also it's something to play off further up the field, because Neto was sensational again, and that goal was unbelievable, reminiscent of the Southampton goal for me, where he turned Vestergaard inside out. But you could tell he had nothing left, and you can't play up to him because he's quite a diminutive figure, isn't he? So I don't know why, Dave, he didn't bring him on. Do you think it's? Well, he obviously doesn't fancy him, does he?
I don't know what's going on there. I don't know of the proof. I saw a couple of tweets apparently that he rejected a handshake off O'Neill towards the end of the game as well. I don't know how true that is. But yeah, I think in a situation like that, you get the big man on. You know, his hold up play isn't bad. You get the ball up to him, he holds it up, gets one, saves you a couple of seconds and gets the team up the pitch in general. It'll be really interesting. Obviously, I know we'll talk about the Ipswich game as well. If he starts against Ipswich, which I think he will, what mark can he have on that game? Can he sort of, with Bellegarde injured, suspended, now, there is a place in the attack for somebody to come in, and whether that be Fabio again or whether that be Sasha for Saturday against Manchester City. But, frustrating. But yeah, talking about the goal as well, Matt, the ball, I thought the ball from João Gomes was brilliant. Neto still had a hell of a lot to do, but just a phenomenal finish. And for somebody that has had just 3 goal contributions in the last 2 years, for him to already be on 4 assists and a goal now already this season, he could genuinely be the difference in Wolves staying in the Premier League, really.
Well, I'll flog him in January, so he was phenomenal. But you could just tell that towards the end he had nothing left in him. And I get the idea that, okay, you want to keep Neto on because he will stretch the play, but he wasn't, because he was absolutely knackered. But let's come on to that refereeing decision for the penalty. When I first saw it, I thought, oh God, that's a stonewall penalty in real time, because I didn't see the deflection. So I understand why the referee has given it in real time. But then for VAR to look at it, for it to come clearly off his body part, then onto his hand, which within the letter of the laws would suggest that it's not a penalty. But not only that, I don't know if you saw what was published in The Athletic, but an anonymous source at Wolves, who wants to remain anonymous, protect relationships between the game, told The Athletic that Wolves players were told on the field by referee Josh Smith that he had seen the ball strike Gomez's leg en route and still awarded the penalty because Gomez's arm was in an unnatural position. These referees don't know the laws of the game. It's as simple as that.
I hadn't seen that. That's mad.
Why don't refs get called out about that after a game? Why don't someone say that in a press interview after the match?
They're protected.
That's just
they'll have them mic'd
stupidity.
up, so if they say, "Oh no, that didn't happen," we'll release the audio then.
So you've got 6 officials that could make a decision on that, because you've got your 2 linesmen, you got a 4th official, and you got a VAR and assistant VAR, and none of them.
And the Luton fans that were telling him what was what as well.
Yeah.
But okay, I've got to give that 7.
Yeah. And so what? We've got 12,000, however many people. That's it. No, but how can you get the wrong decision?
If you've got 5 or 6 experts,
yeah,
and you still can't come to the right decision, I don't know. Within your field of works, chaps, if a decision of this sort come through and there was 6 of you sat around a table, what one of you would probably say, I don't know about this, I think we should check. We should check the rule book that we've got. There's a book that states what is black and white.
Control F handball rules,
Yeah.
Give me a sec, Josh.
We're not sure. We've got a rule book that will, tell us whether this is right or wrong. And I'm not. They change the rules so many times, so there's probably why there's confusion. But how can you be refereeing at the top level and not know the rules when I know the rules and I work in marketing? I know that's not a penalty. And Dave knows the rules, and he's an escort, and he's for
men, by the way. Go on.
And also, I know we're going to say the same thing so many times this season, but especially with another handball penalty being given in the big game, the North London derby, and they went to the screen for that one. But what constitutes going to the screen for a handball penalty and what doesn't? Because then if you've got this Josh Smith where they don't want to knock his confidence over because he's new to the game, if he's got to watch a screen and not apply a rule, then he shouldn't be in the like. What constitutes that? Is there a reason because he gave it? And I don't know.
He's not.
I don't know
he's
whether
not
that was
baby.
true.
You don't need his hand holding. He's professional.
He was quite
top of the
small.
game.
He was quite small.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not even just that though, is it? It's like it's professional sport at the top level where points and place in the table cost millions of pounds per place, let alone NFL. So they're just honestly, they're so incompetent at the job. We've got the best product, or we get told we've got the best product in the world in the Premier League. Why don't we just go and get the best officials from around the world? Like VAR works in all these European, like World Cup worked absolutely fine. Women's World Cup absolutely fine.
But look how many British
Champions
referees
League,
actually go to these
fine.
big tournaments. They don't because they know the shit.
Yeah, the wank. That's why they're utterly shite. And this Josh Smith guy, like I say, I do feel for him a little bit in the way of, like I say, like in real time.
Yeah,
his
I thought it was
hand,
a
he's probably blowing. He's probably blowing. But that's where the VAR got to help him out and go, hang on a minute. Like, just have a look at this. Like, the rule is this. It's quite clearly come off his inside of his foot. I think he's rolled up his thigh onto his hand. Where's Joe Gomez's hand meant to be when he's stretching out to block across? Naturally, if you put your leg out, your arm comes out as well. And the ball was going backwards away from goal. It wasn't going to a Luton player. Like, just have some common sense. Like, it's just
if the ball hits his arm without touching his body, it's a stonewall penalty.
Yeah.
But that's the rules. They are the rules. Like, I just don't get it. But I agree. I thought it was a penalty in real time because I didn't see the deflection. So I understand why he's giving it. But then if what's been reported in the Athletic is true, then he's still got it wrong. And then VAR have all looked at it and still got it wrong. But there's going to be. We don't talk about like the decisions that they do get right, which is fair enough, and also the subjective decisions that could go either way. But this one isn't. This one isn't subjective. They're the rules. It's not like
the excuse that they're using. So for the handball interpretation is, and this is obviously what the referee said, is because he's touched the ball with a hand or arm when he's made his body unnaturally bigger, which is fair enough, which he has. However, the mitigating factor here is that if there is a clear change of trajectory when it's played by the same player, it's not handball.
Is that
Go straight up?
No,
right,
so
ESPN.
This is in the Athletic as well. So, but now the referee and John Brooks' VAR had said he hadn't played the ball; he just deflected the cross. So what is it then? That's just a load of bollocks.
That was another thing. Just say. Sorry, go on. I'll round it up.
I was going to say, like, how has he not played the ball? Like, if he wasn't playing the ball, he wouldn't have stuck his leg out in the first place to try and block across.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, they make it up as they go along. They're fucking wank.
And why would you not play the ball and opt to play it with your hand in the box?
Yeah. What they're saying is that he's not meant the block, basically, as in like he.
What do you mean?
The ball.
He's outstretched.
Yeah. That's what they're saying. Basically, his touch isn't, I don't know what right term, intentional. Basically, he's not trying to play the ball; it's just deflected off his leg and onto his arm. Which again, it doesn't. It still goes against the rules. I need that in black and white then.
All these
because the rule says clear change of trajectory when it's played by the same player. It's played off him.
These Twitter referees as well, and I get at Sunday League level, it's a thankless task. I don't know why anyone would do it. I don't know, but fair play if you do. But they're all like claim anonymity as well, like the political refuge.
Yeah, they're also pathetic though, aren't they? They're like the fucking cyclists with the GoPros. Fuck off. They defend things for no reason. It's like what
same aura.
Like, just say they messed it up. If I was in my line of job at work and I did a mistake, human error happens. Look, made a mistake. I don't want another apology off how but we're probably going to get one. Fair enough. There's an error.
I don't think we will.
And then they just come on and defend the indefensible.
Dermot Gallagher did as well on Sky.
He goes against everything, doesn't he? He's a cock.
Yeah.
Just to round off.
Fake London accent as well. He's fucking Irish. Speak like that. What?
I know, that's weird, isn't it? Because like when he actually talks normally, he sounds fully Irish.
Dermot Gallagher.
But he tailors his accent because of TV. It's not like he's come from another planet. People have heard an Irish accent before. Muppet. Chaps,
Can I
would
just
you all
round
agree?
off?
Yeah,
Can I
yeah.
just round off the handball chat with one of my idols, Richard Keys, put on Twitter.
Idol.
Clearly a joke, but
It was
he
just
put on
bad.
just when you said about John Brooks. Is it John Brooks, the VAR?
Yeah.
That he was also the same man on VAR when Bournemouth would not given a penalty for the exact same reason last season, which is what Gary O'Neill was saying. Same bloke, same referee, same set of rules, 2 different outcomes. So you couldn't get any more than that. So one thing Richard Keys has said ever that I think I've agreed with.
Yeah. Or on
There's another thing I think he said that you might agree with.
Took my shirt in for me, love. No,
Disgusting.
That's what he said, by the way. That's not my quote.
Paraphrasing.
The one thing, sort of the balance of things, Luton probably did deserve a point, no doubt.
And they deserve to win it, to be honest.
Yeah, well, that's what they deserve, something out of this game.
Yeah.
And I've just seen a Luton podcast that say they think the penalty is very, very harsh, but on the balance of it, they deserve to get something out of the game. So they will feel, the luck has gone their way that time around. But yeah, one of those. Wolves need to be doing more to be putting these teams to bed anyway before these circumstances even happen.
2 worst teams I've seen this season. Wolves and Luton. Until I watch Sheffield United on Sunday. I'm just hoping that Burnley stop picking up points or don't start to pick up points, because I think we could genuinely stop up this season on 14 points. The way things are going.
Dave, what are your thoughts on Sheffield United reuniting with Warnock for one last?
Oh mate, that'd be amazing. How good would that be? Just if
Amazon,
as long as Amazon Prime also are part of the deal and record the rest of the season, then yeah, I'm all for it.
Imagine.
Yeah.
That won't happen, surely.
Yeah, I saw him linked. Chris Wilder back maybe as well.
Christ.
You'd rather have Warnock, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If we go down this season, it's an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
Purely based on them two. I think you can all agree, chaps, a point earned rather than 2 points drops.
Yeah.
In the circumstance,
In the circumstance, yeah, for sure.
Ipswich versus Wolves, Tuesday night under the lights, Portman Road. Haven't played Ipswich for quite a while in the Carabao Cup. Ipswich are flying at the minute under Kieran McKenna. Really well-respected manager. I've seen a lot of Wolves fans saying if Gary O'Neill's sacked that they would like Kieran McKenna. Tell me what formation he plays in. I bet you can't. I couldn't either.
Hopefully it's a 5.
Yeah, hopefully it's a 5. Dave, Ipswich could make some changes as well, couldn't they? Because I'd imagine with their, I think they're 2nd or 3rd in the league now, their priorities are very much on the Sky Bet.
Yeah, I spoke to an Ipswich fan earlier on, and he reckons they'll make changes. They've had a lot of Saturday, Tuesday games as well as it is, so they've got a lot of players on the fringes. But that's not to say it's going to be an easy task for Wolves. We saw under Nuno back in the Championship, and he used to make wholesale changes. And when you do so well in the league, it almost spurs your second string players on to say, I want to be part of that squad in the league. So it's going to be a tough game for Wolves regardless. I think there'll be many changes for us, but on paper, Wolves should be putting out a team strong enough to get through to the next round. But they've got good momentum. We've not really got any momentum, so I think it'll be a really interesting battle.
I think we expect a back 5. Jord, would you like to see Fabio or Sasa start?
I think we will see a back 5 tomorrow, or 3, however you want to look at it. And I think he'll go with Kalajdzic up front on his own. And I don't think Fabio will start. I think he'll go for a more traditional 3-4-3. You'll probably see Doyle and Traoré in the middle. But I just think he'll respect Ipswich the way they've been going about it. I just think he'll go 3-4-3. I think with the players that he'll like to bring in as well, you want to give minutes to you Johnny's, Doherty, those sort of players, you might end up seeing just out of more circumstance, you might shift it to just to accommodate giving people minutes on the pitch. But I reckon we'll go 3-4-3.
Santiago Bueno and set to make his debut too with Totti.
Yeah, well, that's what we think. That's what we think anyway. That he'll start, and Tommy Doyle will start as well. They both make their first starts for the club.
I would like to see Gonzalez given a chance, Finn, but I don't think he's going to include him just yet. He was in the squad for Palace, but since then, he's not been included in the matchday squad at all.
No, and our what was it, best finisher? Looking at that training video, was it? He won the shooting challenge. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. So because obviously Fraser wasn't on the bench, was he? And then he also wasn't included in the under-21s for the latest game. So it's still. I mean, I really, really rate him, but I think this was a season to sort of get him out on loan and get the minutes. And if he's not getting them in either place, I mean, it'd be a nice thing for him to start tomorrow. But as you say, if you've got Kalajic Silva queuing up for that, he's probably not going to get a sniff for a start. So, yeah, it's tricky. There's a few youngsters on the periphery, but then you've also, as you say, you've got backups everywhere. You've got Doc, Bueno, Totti, all these people that have still got to get the minutes as well in that second team. So, yeah, as always, I'm quite happy to see Wolves back in a back five. Saying back five with one up front against a championship team when we were in Europe a few years ago is a sad state of affairs, but with context, I think it can work. And yeah, I'm interested to see it. I mean, I don't think there's any way for us to see it, is there? Because I'm not making the journey. Do they put this one on? There's no way to watch it, is there? Or is it?
I think I have means and ways of finding it, but won't disclose it on the podcast. Matt Hobbs is actually FaceTiming us throughout the game with Manchester. I don't know.
I don't know why did the EFL not do like
it's weird, isn't it?
iFollow subscription? You could pay £5 to watch it or something.
Sure.
I can only remember streaming one Carabao Cup game. It was that one where Bright missed like 3 sitters against City, and I was on holiday. But I don't know whether that was because I was on
Stoke,
holiday.
They did it once as well.
Stoke home, we did it, didn't we? When
We lost, didn't we?
Was that in lockdown?
Yeah, Fabio got marked out the game by Nathan Collins. There you go.
I think ESPN have the rights for it. So, if you've got one of those, one of those sticks, maybe if you've got ESPN on there, maybe have a look. But yeah, they've got the international rights for it. But yeah, I don't know why they don't put it on. But yeah,
I watched Wolves versus Gillingham in New York last year, so there must be a way to watch it somewhere.
Yeah, it's ESPN, isn't it? Just having a look now. Should be on there. So, what are we expecting from this, lads? I mean, I think it's quite telling for Fabio that could prefer, if he does prefer Sasha. But what do we want? A win performance? What's more important? We've got to win, haven't we? Against Ipswich.
Yeah, I want a cup run, if I'm honest with you, because the league's going to be fucking horrible in it. So if we can get a nice little cup run, it'd be nice. I do think we'll go in there and win tomorrow as well, and only on the basis I think Ipswich will make wholesale changes. And I looked at their 11 from the weekend. It should mean that people like Lee Evans, ex-Wolves, come in, and Sam Morsey will be playing, Wolverhampton lad as well. So I mean, we should have enough. Comparing a Premier League second 11 to a Championship second 11, we should have enough, but Kieran McKenna's gone flying, so it'll be a difficult place to go. They're not used to losing football games there, are they? So it'll be interesting.
No. And then unfortunately on Saturday we've got Man City. Oh no. Dave, are we gonna play a back 8, back 9, back 10?
I really don't know what to expect. To be fair,
just turning up to Boo Nunes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be hissing and all sorts, spitting out. Yeah, I think he'll start as well because he played quite well at the weekend. Touch wood, teams have kept City to fairly low scoring at the moment.
Don't say it.
So they're coming to Molineux now, so that'll change. But there might be a miracle. But if there was one fixture or a pair of fixtures that you would say Wolves are getting absolutely nothing from, it's these games against Manchester City. So, massive job for Gary O'Neill. But hopefully there's a couple of players on Tuesday against Ipswich that show up, and state a claim for a place in Saturday's team. Because although against Luton, that's probably the team I would have started, it's obviously something's not working. So sometimes, we might need to freshen things up, and we'll see what happens. Counter-attack's going to be our best friend, so it could be a really good game for Neto, hopefully on Saturday.
Yeah. Gary O'Neill at Bournemouth last season was a bit of a specialist, wasn't he, in terms of pragmatism? I know they beat Liverpool as well, Finn. Do you think he could work his magic here and we sneak a 1-0 win, stay in the game, and then try and hit them late on?
Yeah, it's tricky. Yeah, if we're running out of time, no. But if we've
got time.
The thing is, the two games we've had against the top six the big six in United and Liverpool, we didn't really. I know we countered, but we went at them as well, didn't we? In those first halves, played them off the park. It wasn't necessarily defending for our lives. So I can't say I've seen any evidence of a Gary O'Neill Wolves team sitting in and having success on the break. We didn't really in that second half against Liverpool. And the Man United game was it's just one we're going to reference being a massive fluke this season, I think. So I can't say I've got any faith because I haven't seen any of it yet. However, we have the players to do it. We've seen that years ago from Neto, and it's looking like he's regaining that form that we've seen. So Hwang, Neto, there is hope there. You've got Lamina and Gomez in there to break it all up. And I mean, Rodri's going to be suspended, isn't he? So I don't know who's going to go in there. It's going to be maybe Phillips and Nunes. It's not unbelievable, is it? So there is hope, but in short, no.
Jord, what's your approach for this game if you're Gary O'Neill?
Fire alarm, nuke the stadium. I don't know.
Do an Ajax.
Yeah, literally just don't go on the pitch. I think it's not. And again, I don't want to sound. This sounds ridiculous. I think it's an awful time to play City with the fact that Rodgers out and De Bruyne's out and Bernardo Silva's out, and
they normally start fairly slow anyway in the season, don't they? I know they're miles better than us, but it's normally the tail end that they.
That's what I'm saying. I know I sound like a fucking moron, but like you go on to play them.
I'm glad you said it.
With the, this is probably not a bad time to play them. I just think, like I say, Phillips are going to come in out from the cold. Nunes, I mean.
They've got to give him some. Just try and get under his skin because you know he's a bit of a touchy character. And touchy character. That's not. He's a big baby.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm gutted. I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm at the Crystal Maze. It's a Christmas present that's been booked for 9 months. So honestly, when I've realised it was Man City, I'd saved all sorts for Nunes. So I'm gonna have to do it in spirit, because he deserves everything he fucking gets on the weekend. But that could play into our favour. I think he'll play on. You know what he's like. He's a bit of a hot head. I think he could lose his head, especially if the fans start going at him as well. He could do something petulant. Again, I'm taking real small things here, and the only thing I think with Neto is that Kyle Walker seems to be rejuvenated after his contract renewal, and he's looking unbelievable. And Pedro Neto backs his pace against Kyle Walker. There's only one winner, so we could just be on a hiding for nothing, if I'm honest with you.
There you go. I think the atmosphere will be quite good purely because of Nunes.
I will.
Because Kovacic injured. Could they not just weather that?
Kovacic is injured as well, I think.
He is as well. Okay. Well, he's definitely starting then. Good. Get your banners ready, lads.
Might get that FIFA card and just spray paint Judas on it. You reckon they'll let me bring it in? Just hold it.
Like, can you sign this and then just
on fire?
Yeah. Can you sign this and wanker?
The tennis racket and an apple. Eat that.
Oh, bloody hell. Right, let's move on to the questions then, lads, because we've got a little bit of a quiz at the end of the show, which is going to be hopefully a permanent feature. If people enjoy it and if these lot can actually guess who the footballer is. A Mars Music Show. Someone actually asked in the questions, why does a Mars Music Show get his question read out every single week? But to be fair to him,
who asked that?
Someone that I remember, but like they like, I'm not going to assume Amar's gender, but they asked really good questions, so that's why. Has Hobbs' alleged insistence on an English manager come back to bite us? I don't care where a manager is from as long as they are good, but only interviewing English candidates instantly reduces our talent pool. I'm sure that any potential Gary O'Neill replacement will also be English. They also interviewed Lee Carsley, didn't they? Or spoke to Lee Carsley.
Yeah, it didn't go very far though. Yeah, but where's the proof that it was all only English managers?
I don't think it was only just English managers, but I think that Hobbs wanted an English candidate. Yeah, that was his preference.
I suppose for him, in regards to a working relationship, it would probably be easier for him, obviously. But as a football club, we just want whoever's best available. I think we needed an appointment quickly anyway, and I think that's probably for him in such a difficult position. That probably would have been the most straightforward thing. But I don't know. I wouldn't be so sure if any potential replacement would be English, because I think Wolves would just look to see who's out there and the best available, candidate. So I don't know.
There's been, well, most of the questions are, when is he leaving? When are they going to sack him? Has he gone yet? Which I think's a little bit premature. He's on a 3-year deal. There seems to be this rumour around a 1-year break clause as well. I don't know how true that is.
Not sure.
It wouldn't surprise me. But Cartwright has asked, am I the only one who thinks O'Neill is getting a rough ride here and things maybe haven't just fallen for us? That's football. Keep doing what we're doing and we think we'll be safe. I think that's probably part of the problem as well. They're like, how much we've fallen in the last 2 or 3 years. Like, we're happy just to be safe. Like, it's crap. We should be aiming a lot higher. But
I think this is the position that the club and the board have put us in, though, just with the crap recruitment,
just
not backing up Teggy. As fans, and it's become frustrating because this is almost our sort of third consecutive, or even you could even say fourth consecutive. No, it would be third consecutive transition season. Nuno wanted one, then Bruno Lage came in, and obviously this season we started off. So I think that's just got to be the aim, stay in the Premier League. And although it could be a long season for us, and I think, like Cartwright said there, I think earlier on in the podcast, I said, like, there's just these fine margins. And unfortunately for Gary O'Neill at the moment, Wolves keep falling onto the wrong side of all of them. The United chant, the penalty on Saturday, Cunha's chances against Liverpool, a lot of that is sort of out of his control, but it's also his job to make sure Wolves put themselves in such a good position that these things don't matter really. So it's hard for him, but I think, like you said, mate, he's on such a long contract that I think even if he loses against City and possibly loses against Villa, I think he's got at least until the following international break before Wolves even consider getting rid of him.
Yeah. Juicy Fruity has asked, I've heard shouts of fans blaming the players for our poor performance on the weekend, but it's down to Gary O'Neill's tactics and in-game management, in my opinion. How do you see it? Poor player performances, or do you see it as our players playing in a poor system? Also, we need to play Sasha. I'll ask Jord that. What do you think it is? Or do you think it could be a bit of both? Sit on the fence, mate. I'm sure you will.
No, like I said, I stuck up for O'Neill earlier. The one thing where I will sort of understand the flack he's getting online is I do think his in-game management has been pretty poor. Yeah. To be honest with you, I can't remember a sub he's brought on in any of the games other than Kalajdzic at Everton because he got the winner where it's positively impacted the performance, where he's made a decision that sort of changed the game. I would agree with that, but like I say, I think the performances, I think it's down to the players because I don't know, like he can't be set, like they've got it in them. Like we saw again. I swear we just mention the United performance every week, but you go from that the Liverpool first half, like even the Palace first half, I thought we were decent at times. Like it's in them. But then I just think the players we've got are at Wolverhampton Wanderers because they are a little bit inconsistent. There's some real good players there with a lot of promise, but they're so hot and cold, Jekyll and Hyde, that's why they're not at big clubs. And we've sort of got to live and take that, but. I do think his in-game management so far, what we've seen, has been pretty poor.
Fair enough. Stu Walker has asked usually 40 points to stay up this season, maybe lower if it carries on like this. What do you guys think? It's a bit early to say, isn't it? After 6 games, but how many points, Dave? Do you reckon you need to stop up this season?
What was it last season? Was it about 36, 37? Was it or
I think 34? Wasn't it? Something like that.
Even lower than that.
I don't know.
Last season it was
36.
Was it?
Yeah.
I think it'll be in around that again.
Yeah.
I think, and no disrespect to Sheffield United and Luton, I think those two are the two. It'll be very interesting. We've got to make sure we're not that third team that almost get dragged into it. But I think by sort of January, February, we're going to have a pretty good idea of who's going down and what the point tallies are going to be. We just got to make sure. And I said it on last week's pod. I think Gary O'Neill's just got to make sure they keep their head above the water. I think if Wolves can go to January at sort of 15th, 16th, the club, this is the difficult decision for the club because they've already said they're going to back, they're going to look for another striker.
Yeah, I've said it now.
Do you, if Gary O'Neill's like, are you going to spend 25 million on a striker for a manager that might not even be there in, 6 weeks' time? So
Yeah, well, I think that's quite short-termist anyway, because surely as a technical director or director of football, whatever you want to call them, you buy players to fit
I
the
suppose.
system, and then the
Yeah.
manager will coach them. Because I mean, you've seen it at Chelsea; it's been a shambles, hasn't it? With how many they brought in, but
it's probably going to be what's his name from Salernitana anyway, isn't it?
yeah, because he's not even playing, is he?
Mate,
Got on field.
Really?
that situation is
Yeah,
jokes.
still
Yeah.
played.
Oh man, it is bad. I know we're taking the piss out of Nunes, but that is bad.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I wonder what the offer was that they put in. I reckon probably about 3 or 4 million, something like that.
No,
At the end of the loan.
He scored a load of goals, hasn't he?
Apparently, there wasn't a pretty respectful option to buy. I think, but I think apparently I think it was the way that they went around it. I think Wolves approached the agent first rather than the club.
It was a loan with an option to buy for their striker who just got 16 goals last season in Serie A. It is bad. It is bad if someone did it to us then. But if you look at, Sheffield United played 6 games, Luton, Burnley on 5. But if you look at points per game, if it carries on, which I don't think it will, then 7 points is enough to stay up. So, but, Finn, how many points you reckon you need to stop up this season?
I instantly said, 35, thinking last year was about 38. So you probably get 34, 35. There's some dross, but as you say, we just got to stay away from those two and not be the third. What did you, I think, just with the 40-point thing and the Gary O'Neill thing, what did you make of that? Because if we're talking about negatives of the manager, that thing where he said, we got 41 points and lost a lot of key players, I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, I thought it was very defeatist thing to come out with.
Yeah. Didn't like
That's
that.
one way to vote confidence in a squad, isn't it?
That's what I mean. I just don't get, as a leader, you wouldn't say that, would you?
No.
When you're trying to, and we've lost Neves. It was the only one that was actually a starter in what we lost. And he's brought in Bellegarde, he's brought in his own players to some extent now. It's not. Yeah, I thought it was poor. Weird comment, but again, I think context is a big thing, and I haven't read or seen the whole thing. So
yeah,
but yeah, not great that sound bite for sure.
Yeah, right then, it's time for the quiz. So hopefully this is going to be a regular feature. Depends how it goes down, but we're dubbing this the career path game. Now it's another name for a game that's been doing around. Loads of podcasts do it and talk sport and whatnot. But I'm going to read out the career path of 3 players. I want you guys to call out a name. So it's going to be, for example, started his career at Barnsley in 2002, scoring 3 goals in 40 appearances, etc. Now, if you do call out a name and it's incorrect, then you have to wait until someone else calls it out. So you are frozen until someone else.
We have our buzzer. We've got to shout our name before the name, or we just
you shout out the name of the player.
All right, so.
okay.
So are you all ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
So this player started his career at Wolverhampton Wanderers in 2001, making 47 appearances. He went on loan to Kidderminster Harriers in 2002 and made 4 appearances. He left Wolves in 2009, joining Worcester City, where he made 19 appearances and scored 1 goal before moving to Bridgnorth Town in 2011.
I know it.
2013.
Adam Proudlock.
No,
it's Chris Barnes.
No, making 0 appearances and scoring 0 goals.
Keith Lowe.
No.
No, it is.
I'll move on to his international career because you've not got it. So between 2002 and 2003, he made 5 appearances for Northern Ireland under 21s.
I know it is.
Before making 3 appearances for the full international team for Northern Ireland between 2004 2005.
Can you go? Where did he go from Wolves?
Kidderminster.
So Kidderminster on loan, and then he went to
Worcester.
Who had the last guess? Was it?
It was
George.
Dave's had 2, by the way. So
No,
the format has fallen.
You've got to
Already.
police it yourself, guys.
Sorry.
right.
I
The
don't know. He was born in 1982, and his position was fullback or centre back.
I know. I can picture the guy, but I don't know. I can't think of his name.
Ryan Green.
No.
Nah.
I'm going to go on to his managerial career. And then it's 0 points. From 2011 to 2013, he managed Bridgnorth Town before moving to AFC Bridgnorth across the road. For 2013 to 2016, before managing Limavady
Dave.
United.
Mark Clyde.
I'm pretty sure he's frozen, aren't you?
What?
Oh, thanks, Dave. No, it just counted as a 0. Well, I don't know. Is it one? We get one guess per round.
No. As many guesses as you want.
No, it's not, because Jord had a guess after me.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Oh, so it's once someone else has had a guess, you're not frozen.
Mark Clyde.
So he said Mark Clyde.
It is Mark Clyde.
Yes, come on.
Well done, Dave.
Wow, well played.
Well done, mate.
Hot and bothered there. I knew it.
I thought it was a Republic of Ireland international, not
I didn't
Northern.
have a
That's
clue.
what threw me.
Finn's like, who's Mark Clyde?
Well, what year did he retire? What was his last?
2013.
He retired in 2013.
He was
When you said he played for Northern Ireland, he said he played for Northern Ireland 2004. I was like, I'm 4 years old. Like, how am I meant to know who this bloke is? But yeah,
I knew
to learn Chinese, buddy.
I was only 7.
I didn't have a clue.
That's old FM knowledge, that is.
Are you ready? Are you ready for your next player? So, Dave, we're going to hopefully keep a tally of this, and then whoever has the most points in the season will receive a prize.
Lovely.
You all ready? So, just to recap the rules, guys. If you call out a player and it's wrong, you're frozen until someone else calls out a player, and then you're unfrozen if that object is incorrect. Understood? But please police it yourself. Please keep your mouth shut, because I'm reading off the pages here. So this player started his career at Cannes in 1991 and made 38 appearances, scoring 3 goals before moving to Le Havre in 1995, where he made 103 appearances, scoring 0 goals. In 1999, he had a low move to Wolverhampton Wanderers, making 6 appearances before making the move permanent in the same year. Where he stayed until... Ding! Correct.
Oh.
Correct. Well done, mate. For those who wanted to know where else he played, he also played at Wolves on loan and finished his career at USL Dunkirk. Wonderful. Are you ready for the next one, chaps? This is your final one. Hopefully, Finn, you can get some points on the board. I'm probably not going to...
I wasn't born when that geezer was playing for Wolves, so if there's one a little bit closer.
Poor knowledge, I think, Nathan.
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
This player started his career at Oster in 1989, making 6 appearances before moving to Brann in 1990, making 56 appearances. He then signed for IFK Gothenburg in 1993, making 46 appearances, and then moved to Vicenza in 1995, making 33 appearances. Still yet to register a goal in all of these careers. In 1996, he moved to Rangers, where he stayed there for 2 years before moving to Valencia in 1998, where he made 57 appearances and scored 1 goal. He then moved to Venezia in 2001, making 18 appearances and didn't score a goal. He then moved to Sunderland in 2002 until 2004, where he made 57 appearances, and it was in 2004 where he signed for Wolverhampton Wanderers, making 3 appearances before finishing his career.
Jody Craddock. No, sorry, no. I thought you meant from. No, I realised.
Yeah. Jody Craddock started his career in Oster.
Yeah, I know. I panicked when he said to Wolves, and then when he said three appearances.
Well, you're frozen now anyway, mate. So you got to keep.
Isaac Okoronkwo.
No.
I'm back in the game.
I'll move on to his international career.
This is going to give it away. I should have waited.
In 1986. He made 13 appearances for Sweden under 17s, and then between 88 and 89, he made 10 appearances for the under 19s. He then moved up the ranks in 1990 and made 24 appearances between 90 and 92 for Sweden under 21, before making his full international debut in 1992, where he made 78 appearances for Sweden. I know it is. You're frozen anyway, aren't you?
I know.
Oh, that'll be Dave. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. There you go. Nice, you'll go, Dave.
I'll now move on to his position and his date of birth. So he was born on the 15th of March in 1971, which makes him 52.
Don't say centre half.
Was predominantly a centre half.
You can't, Dave. I've just said one. You can have a go.
Can I go in? Genuinely?
No, that's not.
No, it is, man.
You can't just go. So
he's Swedish. It's better than Jody Craddock.
His managerial career. In 2018, he was the assistant of Hammarby IF until 2021, and he's now currently assistant manager at Sarpsborg 08.
Oh, good club.
These lot won't get it, genuinely.
No, I don't have a
three appearances for Wolves.
From Sunderland.
Moving from
Yeah.
Sunderland.
Yeah,
2004
to 2005.
Was it Sebastian
No.
Larsson, the Swedish geezer Sunderland had? I'm trying. What a player.
Yeah, but
Is that a guess again? Come on.
Never played for Wolves. Well, I'm trying to. I don't know who to guess because I don't know what's allowed. Is it? If Jody Craddock-
he joined
Dave,
us-
Dave, go on, Dave. Put Dave out his misery. I was going to say.
No, you've got it, George. You've got
Kevin
one
Foley.
guess each.
Swedish centre half for Wolves for 3 games
No,
under McCarthy.
This is killing me.
This is.
Was it under McCarthy? What year?
No, it
was
wasn't under
Oh,
McCarthy.
this was the Premier
Oh,
League
Glenn
season.
Hoddle.
Yeah.
No, it was the season after, wasn't it? You said.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Wolves weren't in the
Glenn
Premier
Hoddle.
League when he joined. They'd just been relegated.
I was ball boy this year as well, which makes it worse.
Yeah, to be fair, he left the club and retired because of an injury-hampered season.
People who listen to this are going to be like.
I'm going to have to
Oh,
press
no.
you
No,
5
you know
seconds,
what?
please, George.
Let Dave have a guess.
No.
Fuck off. If no one else can get it, I should have a go.
Stephen Ward.
There you go.
Michael
Thank
Bischoff.
you.
Michael Bischoff. I know that's not right, but Michael Bischoff, let Dave do it.
Yockenby Auckland. Come on.
Yeah, that's
Is that it?
sounds right. Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah.
It's Judging Bridge Auckland.
Yes, come on.
I'll play Dave.
Dave 2, Jord 1. Finn, thanks for playing.
I only know that
Um,
because his kids went to the same primary school as me. That's the only
Mad.
reason. I know. As soon as you said the Swedish clubs, I thought I was going to say Frankowski for a bit. The way he kept saying it, without a goal. And I thought, oh.
Yockenby Auckland. Fucking hell, that's a good remembering.
There we go.
So,
He
Is
played
3
against
enough, or do
Arsenal in
we
the FA
want?
Cup.
Do we? Is 3 enough, or do we want 5?
You got more?
Doing the two.
I've got. I mean,
Yeah, let's
there's
go.
always more.
Hey, let's go more. Go on, 2 more.
There's always more.
I love a
2 more.
Did I get froze out that long again?
Sorry.
That's it, mate. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. That's the rules of the
Yeah,
game.
but when these
You shouldn't
two don't
say-
know any
that's
Scandinavians,
I
Alex,
But
tried.
he still had a chance. He's got to be
who
fair.
did I
mate. He
say? It's
can't
my
just keep
first guess anyway.
I don't know. You ready?
I know.
Yeah.
Go on.
This player started his career at Wolverhampton Wanderers in 1999, making 65 appearances.
That's okay.
During his time at Wolves, he went on loan to Oxford United in 2000, Stoke City in 2003, and Walsall in 2004. He left Wolves in 2005 and joined Hull City, making 29 appearances, scoring 0 goals before moving to Milton Keynes Dons. He stayed there for 2 years between 2006 and 2018, made 78 appearances and scored 19 goals. He then moved to Blackburn Rovers in 2008, stayed there for 4 years until
Dave.
2012.
Keith Andrews.
Correct.
Oh,
Yes,
well done, Dave.
Well done. Well
Come
done.
on.
Okay. Let me get the next one. 3-1, Dave.
You can't. The FM knowledge here is on ridiculous lock at the moment.
You all ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This player started his career at Benfica B in 2012
Oh, nice.
and stayed there until 2018. He made 80 appearances and scored 6 goals before moving up to Benfica's first team between 2014 and 2018. He actually made 0 appearances and scored 0 goals. But during his time at Benfica, he had a loan spell in 2016 at Vitória Guimarães, scoring 1 goal in 5 appearances before moving to Wolves on loan in 2016, where he made 17 appearances and scored 2 goals.
Finn, João Teixeira.
Oh,
It
I knew
is.
Yeah,
It is.
He
Just
scored
shout out
today
the
on this day
the
against.
player's name, by the way. I haven't got to come in with your own name.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's tomorrow.
well, Finn could have been the first guess. Who's Finn? We'll move on to the
Finn
next
Jones.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think on this day in 2017 or 2016, it'd be Brentford 3-1, and he
Oh,
scored.
that goal. Oh,
Yeah.
sublime.
Dave, I can't actually edit the podcast agenda, so can you put the scores in, please, and I can update it?
Yeah.
It's,
no problem.
it's not me
What was
out.
it 3-1-1? Yeah.
3-1-1, yeah. We'll keep that updated. Do you enjoy that? Or
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's good.
good?
Yeah, indeed.
That's all we got time for this week. I've enjoyed that. Well done for winning this week's quiz, Dave. Some stellar
you.
knowledge there, and
you.
good to see both the other lads on the board as well. I felt that's why I won his 5. I felt a little bit sorry for Finn because I'd picked everyone
Everyone
from
this side of the
like
century.
George 0. Yeah.
The glory days.
Dave, where can people find you? Should they wish to follow you, mate?
Yeah, it's at Dave as a party on Twitter and Instagram. And before we close off as well, I'll put a link in the description for the podcast. We're part of a sort of a seven-a-side football tournament that's happening between loads of different content creators in the Wolves space. So there's obviously us, the Fancast 77 Club, Wolf Whistle, the Always Wolves, the Wolves Foundation. Wolves have got their own team as well. So yeah, if you want to, all funds go to the Wolves Foundation. So if you want to get involved in that, just leave a donation. But yeah, enjoyed it today, lads. Nice one.
Jord, where can people find you, mate?
At JordRus7 on Twitter and Instagram. And of course, LinkedIn. Dave, if you've got LinkedIn. Rookie.
Don't want people connecting with me on there anymore. my escort services are getting too busy.
Fair enough.
Finn, where can people find you? When are the vlogs making a comeback? Are you still filming them, or?
I filmed a load of Luton's away end and then got to the game and thought, you know what, like I've with every game this season. I think I tried Liverpool. There was a few. It's just not going to be fun, I don't think, for this season. I like doing my little podcasts, but no, yeah. I mean, we'll see. But I think we're 6. I've tried a few times. There's been a few false starts this season, but it's Finners everywhere. FINERRZ, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. I got a lovely little picture of Luton's away end for my Instagram. Do you see? And if anyone didn't see, there was a little Easter egg. Put Will Still in one of the windows.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
The away end. Great stuff. So.
Cool. I'm M Cooper Writes and Matt Cooper Bites. I think actually there was a couple of questions I missed off.
Yeah, I was about to say I did see the one.
There
was one I wanted to answer.
Sorry. So let me get back into that. Big Al has asked cheese on a curry, yes or no? Unpopular for me, and it's going to sound minging. I actually quite like cheese on sweet and sour.
I've never ever heard of having cheese on a curry in my life.
Nah, it's a firm no for me.
Cheese naan.
Cheese naan.
Cheese naan, yeah, but I've never heard of it on top of a curry.
I reckon I've done it in the dark days at some point.
Bit
of cheddar on top.
Cheddar on top.
Oh, no, that's rough. That. Nah.
Yeah, same. No.
But some people don't do chips with curries. I'm always a chips guy, to be fair.
Yeah, chips guy as well.
Yeah.
And the final question, it's been all over the place, this podcast, but it's always the same. Mike Evans' favourite meal to cook? Dave, what?
I don't cook, right?
Your favourite?
Oh, actually. And people take the pee out of me for this. I did years ago when I started the Football Manager podcast. This was one of the first ever questions we had on there, and it ripped me for it for the last 6 years. But I really like a lemon pasta.
Okay.
Yeah, but you guys are quite cultured. All the others, they rinse me for that. But yeah, pasta with like it's not even a sauce as such, but like a lemon flavouring. It's well nice. I like it anyway.
How would you make that?
So you got your pasta pretty easy. You boil the pasta, and then your lemons you squeeze. Depends how much you want, really. Basically, make a paste. So you squeeze the lemons, you zest the lemon, and then you mix it with parmesan, so it almost creates like a paste. And then you mix that in with the pasta. So it's pretty easy.
Nice. It's similar to a carbonara, but instead of using egg, you're using lemons.
Yeah.
When life gives you lemons, make lemon pasta, as the famous old adage goes. Jord, what's your favourite meal to cook? Full English.
Nah, I think recently, anyway, my go-to. I've been doing a lot of like braised steak and like slow cooking, like braised
that time of year, isn't it?
And I had a bit yesterday, and I was like, you know what? I've got some pigs in blankets as well. So braised steak.
Oh, gosh.
Cooked it for like 4 hours in the slow cooker, and then use obviously all the gravy and stuff that you put in with the braised steak on top of it. Oh yeah, it was good. It was good, and it's simple. I can't really go wrong with it. So,
who does the cooking in your house?
Emma, to be fair. If it's non-air fryer, Emma.
If it's beige, it's not Emma.
Yeah. So if I can, if she's away, for example, I'll get the air fryer gets a good seeing to be fair.
But it does. Well, I mean, whatever you're into,
turn it on Max Crisp and Bob's your uncle. You know what I mean?
Finn, what I dread to ask. What's your favourite meal to cook?
I don't do a lot of cooking. However, I'd say that the least effort or like complexity for reward is a steak as well. Like I can do a steak dead eat. Like that's quite easy to do, isn't it? For minimal effort, high reward.
How would you go about cooking your perfect steak?
Well, I've matured and I'm slowly getting down to like a medium, but I'd always be like, well done. But I am growing up a bit now. I know, I'm sorry. So, I mean, if I talk you through it, it'll be 5 minutes too long for every step. But,
we don't need like time, just like preparation, seasoning. What would you do?
Oh, I'm not fancy. Salt and pepper. I wouldn't do anything. Oh no, there's once I did. What was that thing out the cupboard? I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was nice. It was like yeah. But I'm dead picky with. We're going to go on for a long time, but I don't mind going one that's pretty fatty, like going a sirloin or whatever, because I cut.
Yeah, I like the fat when it renders.
No, I don't like it, but I give it to our chickens. They go mental for it. Yeah, our chickens absolutely love steak fat, so I see it as like a gift to them as well as me. Okay. So, and I'm not fancy. That doesn't have to be. I mean, I love a fillet, but I would probably, if I was going myself, do a sirloin. Treat for me, treat for the chickens. A couple of oven chips, bosh.
Yeah, salt and pepper's all right with a steak. I don't think it needs much more than that.
I don't think it needs much. Yeah, well, I wouldn't even know what to do. Did I do paprika? Or I was just messing around.
Oh no, that doesn't go on a steak. That does not go on a steak. Yeah. It does not go on a steak. Okay,
yeah, no,
nice. For me, it'd have to be a curry, wouldn't it? Yeah, it'd have to be a British Indian BIR curry. But yeah, those are our favourite meals. But if you've managed to get to this point of the podcast, why? What are you still doing here? But yeah, until next time, take it easy, and hopefully by this time next week, we're talking about a famous win at Portman Road and a famous win at Molineux under Man City. So against Man City. But until next time, take care.